Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with War Thunder, and I've got a question for you. Have you ever taken the time to drive your tank into some fantastic cover? Perhaps it's in the trees or in the shadows, maybe in a nice hull down position, so far away behind tree and grass cover that you think that there's not a chance in hell that anybody can possibly see you. Maybe you're trying to duck some planes. Maybe you're hiding in the shade, thinking that, well, it's so dark here that there's no way that plane can see you. Well, what if I told you that your cover, all the time you take, the patience that you have, what if I told you that it just simply didn't matter? What if I told you that everything you're seeing right now is an illusion? What if a lot of this could disappear? You wouldn't believe it. You'd think, nah, it's got to be a hack. A mod of some sort. Surely this must be illegal. A bannable offense, even. What sorcery is this? There's no way, right? You can't change the graphics enough to turn it into a completely different game. Who would allow that? If only there was a way to show the difference between these graphic settings and extremely low settings. Well, by golly, there is! I bring you, ladies and gentlemen, the power of editing. Welcome to the jungle. Or the lack thereof. Yep. This is the same game. This is War Thunder Ground Forces on the supposed jungle map. This is the ultra low quality setting. And you can see that more has changed than simply foliage. It goes above and beyond the grass and the trees, the lighting, the lack of shadow. It all impacts gameplay. It changes everything. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you are getting shot halfway across the map and through the woods. This is the answer that we've been looking for. And no, it's not because you're a bad player or that you're too old, or that you're blind. It's because people are playing the game like this. And in some cases, it's people that don't need to be. Because I'm not trying to hate on people that don't have systems to run this game, but these settings, in my opinion, are adversely affecting gameplay. And here's proof positive. Take a look at these tanks driving down the road. Now take a look at them with my original settings. Yep. Look at all that cover that they're provided and the advantage given to the player with low graphic settings. Look at how much extra foliage is added back into the mix. And not only that, but pay attention to the lighting, the shadows, various shader effects, all combined to make a beautiful and immersive world. But when you remove that, it takes you out of the environment, and it provides an advantage to those that choose to run the game at these low-end settings. So what do? Is there a solution? Should we jump to PlayStation 4 and play that version of War Thunder? Unfortunately, that's not going to help. The game is cross-platform. PlayStation 4 users can potentially play with PC users. Normally that would be a cool thing, but in this case it's not because, well, PC users can do this. And we have access to mouse and keyboard, which you can only get on console if you perhaps spend money on an expensive adapter. So, sadly, not a great solution. Still not convinced that we might have a problem on our hands? How about one more map? Alright, now if this doesn't convince you, then I have no idea what will. But take a look at this lovely lush... holy crap, where did it go? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the proof is in the pudding. Whether you feel that you need to run these settings or not, you cannot look at this and deny that there's a problem. It's crystal clear. It's right in front of you. I don't know of a single planet where this would be considered acceptable. I mean, it's absolutely jaw-dropping. Here we go again. It's... it's just unbelievable. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You simply can't. The difference is night and day. And speaking of night and day, imagine if there was to be a time change. Imagine if you were playing in lower visibility. These custom battles were played during daytime and clear visibility. Imagine if weather's an issue, if it's raining, or whether it's closer to the evening or the early morning. Imagine how that would further affect visibility, especially for a player who has their settings turned up a bit. So again, how do we resolve this? Is there a way around this problem? What do other games do? Because I'm sure not all titles deem this acceptable. The way I look at it is that if it's a map element, you're not allowed to remove it. If a map designer places a physical object on a map, then it should never be removed. Or there should be some sort of technology in place that makes it seem like there is something there and covering up the player, even if it's not actually being rendered to the naked eye. There has to be a way around this, because right now, if I were to show this to somebody who's never played War Thunder before, and who's unaware of the options available to the gamer, then they would probably think that I'm hacking this game right now, or modding it to some extent. Oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure that by now somebody has commented that I should just go ahead and lower my graphics settings in order to remain competitive, or that Gaijin go ahead and limit the amount of graphical options at the higher end. But sorry, that's not a solution. There's a lot of us that work really hard for our money, and when we invest in a gaming PC to make games look and run great, we expect results. On top of that, Gaijin is of course proud of their achievements, and this is the one thing that keeps them ahead of the competition. Now you see me? Now you don't. Look at the difference that made, ladies and gentlemen. And don't get me wrong, most of the problem is still the grass and the trees. It's not necessarily the lighting and all of that stuff, but it is heavily between shadows, trees, and grass. And I think there can be a compromise made for those things. Now, if we think about one of the ugliest games I've ever played my entire life, which is World War II Online, and by the way, yes, it's still the ugliest game that I think anyone will ever play. Go ahead and download it. It's free to play now. There's still more tree cover in that hideous game than there is in this title with the graphics turned down. And it just goes to show you that there are compromises that can be made. Lower quality foliage can be presented to a gamer that doesn't have a system that can run this game properly. There is a way around this, and I just think that Gaijin perhaps came up with the wrong idea. Once again, another perfect example of how the grass simply obscures these tanks. This one that we're looking at right now, we barely saw, if not for the removal of the grass. And I want to once again make it perfectly clear that I'm not sitting here as some sort of PC elitist demanding everybody run the game the way I do, or that they beef up the system requirements, but this is clearly messed up. In fact, this is probably a bigger issue than battle rating, matchmaking, and broken tanks and planes combined. This is a hidden killer, ladies and gentlemen. This is a problem that not a lot of people are acknowledging. There are some forum posts about this with some screenshots, but it's never truly been brought to light. This is a severe issue. This is affecting the gameplay. In fact, I stopped playing World of Tanks because of the invisible tanks. I got tired of getting shot at by things I could never see. One of the biggest selling points to this game is the simple fact that they didn't make up some BS mechanic. And that's the one thing that a lot of people question me anytime I recommend this title is, hey, does it have invisible tanks? Is there artillery? Does it work the same way as that other game? And I say, no, it doesn't. It makes more sense than that. And here we see this problem now, and I can no longer safely recommend this title to the people that I normally would because of these problems. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop playing War Thunder anytime soon. I still do enjoy it a large percentage of the time, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't bail in a second if something better showed up. Beyond that, while I will continue to play this, keep in mind that my level of patience is going to increase, now knowing that there is far less cover than previously thought. There's no grass, there's no bushes or shrubs, trees are minimal, especially depending on range and draw distance settings. Shadows are also gone, so forget trying to hide from planes flying above. So, ladies and gentlemen, whether this is incompetent game design or an actual attempt to do something nice and allow more players into their game, something has to be done. I don't feel that this is the right direction, and we know that other games can do it better. So, with that, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Game Labs, the developer of Naval Action. When their game was questioned, they stated the following: "We are not planning to dumb down the game. We don't have plans to cater to millions. We need to sell 100,000 copies and have 10,000 live players to be happy, providing good income for the dev team. We know that niche products can make good money. Take Porsche, for example." Ladies and gents, if you've been subscribed to me for some time, then you know that if I had the chance to develop a title, then I would be doing what Game Labs is doing. That's how you do it. You do something because you're passionate about creating a fantastic product. A product that you yourself, as that developer, wishes to play and enjoy. The same way that I make videos that I would want to watch. And while I may never have the largest amount of subscribers or the most views per video, I know that I can at least wake up each and every morning, look at myself in the mirror, and maintain a level of respect for what I do. I'm looking for devs, YouTubers, streamers, even viewers that can say the same. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining me. I will definitely see you on the next one.